Everyone, another pre-summit interview for you with the wonderful Claire John today. And I've known Claire a long time. She's a great friend, but she's also absolutely brilliant at what she does. Claire is trained in counseling, hypnotherapy, clinical hypnotherapy, NLP coaching. She's a personal trainer, and her primary focus and what we're going to be talking about today is iHeart. Hey, Claire, welcome to the call. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
First question, Claire, iHeart. Listen, we're talking because I introduced iHeart to my son through you. He's worked with you at iHeart to help his confidence, his emotional resilience, his understanding of his psychological systems. But can you give us a quick explanation of what iHeart is all about?
Sure. So in its simplest terms, iHeart stands for Innate Health Education and Resilience Training. And really, this is about building solid foundations and understanding about how your mind works. It's about why we think, feel, and behave the way we do. And the way I would describe it is it's a bit like getting an instruction manual for your mind, right? And we all know how difficult it is to build an IKEA cupboard without the instructions. But we're expected to navigate life every day with no idea about how our psychological system works. So iHeart is all about giving young people that knowledge, right early on, before things go off piece, before things go wrong, so they can be really well equipped to navigate life's challenges. And you know, it's preventative, but also it's about understanding that when we struggle, what's going on and how we can still be resilient and reconnect with our well-being, you know, even when it's tough. Right, it's all about building those strong foundations.
Amazing, because if we had those foundations when we're younger, hopefully life would be a little bit more easy to navigate. Let's put it that way. Sure. And so, you particularly specialize in working with children. So, what ages and how does it work with children? Because I hope that there are parents watching this who will be, you know, interested because they could help, you know, pass this on to their children or, you know, find out more about what's going on.
Sure. Well, the program is, I mean, anyone would benefit from knowing this stuff, right? But the actual iHeart curriculum or program is designed for kids between the ages of 9 and they say 18. So it's quite a broad age range. There are 2 curriculums following the same message, but slightly tweaked for different age groups. I really love working with kids that are sort of late primary, sort of year 5, 6, and potentially early secondary. That transition period, if we can get the support in early, it can be really, really helpful for them to navigate those tricky changes, right? When the load in life gets higher, relationships get more sophisticated, and all of those things. But yeah, it's quite a broad age range.
Because what I found really interesting is that when I did the program alongside my son, working with you, Heath is 10. You were sharing stuff and teaching him stuff that I never heard of before, or there were concepts and insights that I got that literally had me going, oh my God, I didn't understand that or know that, or that's new. So, you know, I can personally say, yeah, any age group is going to benefit. So in essence, how does this affect children? So children you've worked with, what are the kind of the key benefits that they get?
Okay, so To start with, we look at, we kind of shine a light on how our psychological system works in its basics and why we actually have everything we need inside of us. Everything's an internal job. And that's really empowering, because all of a sudden they start to realize, I'm not deficit. There's nothing wrong with me. And actually, it's something that we talk about. What is the biggest illusion that human beings experience every single day? We all do it. We have this big illusion that somehow we need stuff outside of ourselves to feel good, right? It's the biggest illusion. And I'll go, and it's very complex, and it's too much to explain on this call. But when they start to be able, they know they're going to experience this illusion. We all do, and we're all going to get triggered and had by it. But when they can see it, they can redirect, and they go, I can see what's happening here. I'm feeling this ick, but I understand why. And that's very empowering. You know, one of the things is about being okay with feeling not so great, not being afraid of those negative feelings, understanding that they have a purpose, that we're there, we are built to take them and handle them, how we can dissolve them. They might not always dissolve, but over time we can weaken them, and we can get better at reconnecting with our well-being. Now, when we understand how minds work and how it all works, we can start understanding why we think, feel, and behave the way we do, why we're reacting a certain way to other people, perhaps, why we're argumentative, why we're upset, why we're lashing out. But equally, we understand why other people do that as well. So I'll give you an example of bullying. We teach a session on bullying towards the end of the curriculum. And it's so powerful and so simple, because it really looks at how, whether you're on the receiving end or you're dishing it out, the mechanism for it is the same. And when you can see that, when a child can see that, or an adult can too, it's really empowering, because we understand, okay, this is why I'm doing it. And yeah, it can be game-changing, absolutely game-changing.
The thing I think that the word that I keep dropping from this conversation is understanding and awareness. And when we can have that understanding and awareness as parents, then we can also help our children, and they can also then teach it back to us as well, which is something I discovered on that program. Claire, what you're going to do a masterclass in the Amplify You Summit. What 3 things are people going to gain from that masterclass? What are you going to share on that masterclass for participants in the summit?
Sure. I think in its simplest terms, we're going to look at, the psychological system, and we are going to look at that big illusion and how your psychological system is a wonderful thing. It is very intelligent. It operates in a logical way. It's consistent and it's universal. So the good thing about that is our psychological system, once we know how it works, it doesn't change. It's predictable. But we're going to look at that illusion. We're going to look at that illusion and why it seems, it seems so true that our well-being is something that we have to cultivate. Our resilience, we have to build it. We are deficit, right? We can be a deficit. If I'm not feeling good, there's a problem. There's a deficit somewhere. And we're going to look at why that is such a big illusion, and what, and really the power of understanding that.
Awesome. Guys, if you're watching this, jump on the Amplify You Summit, because you're going to get blown away with some of this information. There'll be practical tools, strategies, and your understanding, your awareness is going to go to a whole new level. If you've got kids that are struggling, I cannot recommend this more highly. I've used the system with my son. He loved it. He benefited from it. And we can't wait for your masterclass, Claire. Good to chat. And we'll see you on the summit starting on the 16th of October.
Awesome. Cheers, Finn.
See ya.
See ya.